What's up, guys? Back again with another weekly analysis. Last week played out really, really well. Um, we saw the dollar actually increase in terms of gaining strength amongst a lot of the symbols that we do trade. So, majority of the ones that I actually do look at, we saw dollar strengthening. So as is, we're going to start with DXY. We're just going to be looking at it on a bigger time frame. So I was actually pulling back to the 3 month as well too, just to see on how things are actually playing out. And it seems as if this trend line, or support trend line, is actually still being heavily respected on a bigger time frame. So when I zoom in onto the monthly, you guys can be able to see it right now as is. This candlestick right here is currently bullish. We're in March right now, so 9th. So when I do zoom in onto the weekly, you guys can be able to see that a strong bullish momentum that is still pushing through within the market. So what I am going to be expecting is that this resistance level gets broken and pushed above that this zone and creating higher highs and higher lows. So once we see on the daily, you can see there's a little bit of a wick rejection, just rejecting this area right here, just slightly not touching this resistance zone that I actually marked out here. But when I do zoom in onto the 4 hour, right, I am going to be expecting, because now that I have seen, so I am going to be expecting, seems as if there's another triangular pattern that's actually going to be playing out. And when I do take out my Elliott wave, so we are still going to be looking bullish with DXY, stronger dollar, up ahead. I'm just waiting for maybe the power possibly retest around there, and then we're going to be pushing up into continuation with the rest of the other symbols actually showing momentum. So DXY is still bullish. We are going to look at NASDAQ. So NASDAQ still within this range, very choppy as well too. I have not been trading NASDAQ ever since I think last year. No, I'm lying. It wasn't last year. Ever since I think Jan. But I haven't been touching NASDAQ as often because I see that it's still ranging within the zone. Right here, if we zoom out onto the monthly, still same kind of situation. I'm still seeing kind of this more looking much more bearish. Overall, zoom in onto weekly, things are just kind of ranging within this zone as is. Moving on to the daily, things are still ranging. And it does seem as if we actually broke below this level, and now we're actually going to be reaching this zone here, which is 23, around 24K. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, we tapped into 24K, but the exact one is 23, 796. So now, as we are seeing things play out, what I am hoping for is that if this candlestick closes bearish, then we will be expecting a drop. As you guys can see, this resistance level still being rejected, so we might see maybe a retest in closing this gap, because during market open there was a gap. So as this maybe like a slight rejection right here, or maybe a push back up, or maybe back to this resistance. So see, the things with ranging zones is that you really can't expect much, because the market structure is just very much so poor. So price will just keep consistently like ranging as is. I just want to maybe just see something here. If we, yeah, we still Yeah, we still at it for quite some time. So I think possibly maybe price could come back and retest and touch that resistant level up top there, and then we see what's what. If not, then possibly a break going down, and we would see more bearish momentum actually kick in with Nasdaq. So with Nasdaq, I'm still going to be just waiting, seeing how things play out. Just I need to get a real proper accurate market structure on this, just to really see on how things are going to be playing out overall. But I am expecting this to be weaker. So probably bearish momentum actually kick in, and then we come back and retest this resistant level here on the weekly time frame. So now, one that's really been moving so beautifully is US30. So US30 has been moving amazing. So remember, I did mention, tell you guys that we are within, actually, let me zoom out onto the bigger time frame so that you guys can be able to see. So now I told you that um this candlestick right here, this kind of just validating, giving us a clear perspective of what we can be expecting with bearish momentum kicking in with this single candlestick that is here. So now on the monthly, if this closes bearish, then we know for the next maybe probably month or two, it's going to be bearish as well too. And I did mention that this zone right here is a very crucial zone for us to be looking for in price rejecting this resistant level as is. So what I am going to be looking for, I did show previously in, I think, two videos before the one that I just posted now, two if not three. I did mention as is that this fib level, which is around 1.618. This level is going to be a very strong level that's going to be rejected overall as is, and then we're going to come back around this level, which is 1, and then retest, and then we're going to continue pushing to the upside. So it's very important to actually master these Fibonacci levels. Fibonacci levels are very, very, very crucial to understand and learn, guys. It has helped me find really key points within the markets that I could be expecting reversals, and also find in entry points. But nonetheless, let's go dive into it. So now we're on the monthly, we're on the weekly now. We've seen that bearish momentum has actually kicked in. This support level has been broken on the channel, finally, on the weekly time frame. So we are seeing bearish momentum kick in on the daily, and when we zoom in onto, I think excuse me for that, my battery was low, so I just had to charge my laptop. So as is, you guys can see, the price has been actually showing bearish momentum as is. I'm gonna retest, rejection, price came back, and drop again. So now we're literally on the zone. What I am expecting is for this gap to get closed, right, and then a continuation and drop, moving lower for US30. This is what I am going to be expecting and seeing on US30. I did take a sell position around this support level. Resistance came through, and then I caught this sell, and it was a beautiful sell that was actually played out really well. And this was on Monday, I think, last week. So yeah, that's the beautiful part about it. Just following market structure, man. Keeping things simple, clean. Keep your charts really clean. I think don't mark too many levels out. to make sure that everything is like really clear out for you to see, and also actually just kind of like find the right zones to actually enter in on the charts. So that's what I'm going to be expecting with US30. I'm going to be placing sells as well. This will be my key area. If not, the final zone will be here, just slightly above there. So these two levels are going to be my very strong key level zones where I will be kind of just analyzing and making sure that all is well in terms of entering on and continuing the sell trend overall. So that is my outlook for US30. And now we can go to BTC. So BTC, zoom out onto the daily. You guys can be able to see it's been extremely monthly on a monthly time frame. We have been bearish for the past couple of months. Zooming onto weekly, things are kind of like slightly picking up in terms of actually price coming through. What I am expecting, right, and what I'm seeing right now is that this area right here is a very, 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 very strong level. So you could see that this wick kind of just like tapped into like around the zone and then rejected as is. So what I am going to be anticipating and expecting is, because now that I had a kind of like a trend line mapped out with a resistant trend line. I don't know, it's more like a triangle pattern that's kind of just like formed within there. What I am going to see, I'm seeing a bit of rejection on this trend line, so it hasn't validated it as yet. So when I zoom in onto a 4-hour, you guys can be able to see that the rejection is still seems to be valid as is. So what I am going to be seeing is that if we break above this zone right here, then we will be creating higher highs and higher lows. If not, then there could be a potential move to the downside. But based on what I'm seeing on the weekly time frame on this candlestick right here, if this bullish candlestick closes bullish on the weekly for this week, then we know very well that because it could be like say 70 to 80% chance of the price actually breaking above this level and pushing, creating higher highs and higher lows. So we just have to wait and see how that plays about. I will be keeping an eye on BTC. I won't be actually trading it. BTC will be one that I'll be keeping an eye on. I think US30 is the only one that I'll be actually looking forward to be placing entries. And then now we're going to be looking at gold. So gold as it stands, there was kind of a trend line that formed. Let's zoom out onto a bigger time frame. So yeah, bigger time frame, you can't see much. This obviously bullish candlesticks is a bearish one. Yeah, so we're gonna jump into the weekly. You guys can be able to see that there's a little bit of rejection around the zone. You can see the multiple wick rejections, and this wick is kind of like tapped in and rejected this level as is. So now on the daily, you guys can see the multiple candlesticks that are actually rejecting the zone, even though we have broken the support level right here. I am anticipating that we could maybe potentially just maybe break below that zone. So, but we'll have to wait and see how this plays out, because with gold can be very tricky at times. It's been ranging here for quite some time, so I think for the whole week it's been ranging within this one. So it's been quite choppy. So I'm just gonna have to wait and see how this plays out. I'll be also taking a step back just to see if we do get like solid market structure as is. But this is a very strong level of understanding if soon as price breaks low, we see like a really strong bullish candlestick push higher, and then maybe we could get maybe a retest into this zone right here and a push to the upside. So I was expecting actually for bullish momentum to actually creep in, but we saw like massive bearish momentum actually creep in. This is due to the whole Iran strike. So we will see on how this plays about. I think for now, US30 will be only looking like the valid option to actually trade currently as we speak. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all. The one thing I'm glad about is that fundamentals actually played a really big role in actually validating the moves that I wanted to actually see play out. So as you guys can see, ADP NFP came out strong, but overall NFP was like negative 92k, which was very bad. Core retail sales also came out really negative. Yeah, average hourly earnings came out slightly positive, but it's not one of the indicators that you can be able to look at. Retail sales came out slightly stronger, and our employment rate came out also weaker. So yeah, overall, just looking at it, the data for last week was really weak. I think it was only manufacturing PMI that came out strong, ADP that came out really good, and also services PMI as well too. So for this week, we are now within the daylight saving time shift. So meaning that the New York session will be, well, I trade New York session, but I think for majority of those sessions will be an hour before now. So if here in South Africa, as I'm speaking, previously it was at 4:30, now it's going to be at 3:30. So New York session will be at 3:30 from now on, moving forwards until November. And yeah, then we'll obviously get to the next daylight saving time shift as well too from then onwards. So what we're looking at as is for Wednesday, it's going to be core CPI. Thursday, it's going to be unemployment claims. Friday, it's core PCE, price index. So things are looking just a little also negative as well too for the US data. So we'll have to just wait and see how that plays out. I think possibly one of the big indicators for seeing the momentum and volatility within this week will be CPI. So Wednesday was going to be a very big day for me to visualize and see, and I think also as well too for core PCE as well too. I think these two fundamental news releases are very, very volatile and important to me to actually see the overall standpoint of how we're going to be expecting the US data to play out as is. But yeah, hopefully we can see another continuation in things playing out through the technical analysis that I've given out as is. So yeah, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, as I have always mentioned in past videos. Like, subscribe, share as well too, and comment. And thanks for watching. If you found this video much so helpful, also like as well too. And yeah, see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Cheers.